everyone, welcome back to Ladies First Podcast, and joining me today is a very special guest. She's a lawyer, senior lecturer, entrepreneur, and the founder of RARA, a woman who wears many hats and continues to inspire in every space she steps into. So, drum roll please as we welcome Alosha Herath. Hi Alosha.
Hi. Hi, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you so much for coming. So, we'll just start with a fun question. So, what's something about you that people would never guess?
Okay. Since I have been into academics and I have been excelling in academics, let's say that, a lot of people doesn't know I failed my scholarship exams, right? So though I have been always passing all my exams after scholarship exams with flying colors, I failed my scholarship exams. I think a lot of kids would think at age of 10 that the scholarship is, like something that they definitely should get through. But well, for some students who are planning on maybe going to like a better school, of course, yes, that'd be the case. But I still remember me asking my mother, "Hey, Amma, should I really, go for the exams?" And my mother was like, just if you're bored, maybe least go sit there and like draw something and come. So that was kind of the kid I was when I was small. I was never into academics. I was such a playful, jolly kid, I would say. That's one thing that one would never think of me and assume of me. And the other thing is, a lot of people think I'm such an OCD person who is like really, really neat, but I'm not. I can be really messy sometimes, and I absolutely enjoy being messy as well. Yeah.
So, what made you choose law in the first place? Like, was it always like a passion you had, or was there like a bit of family influence behind that decision you made?
Yeah. Well, for me, law was not there in the beginning in my head. I wanted to become an actress in the beginning. I was more into drama, and then I wanted to become an artist. Then I wanted to become an architecture, right? So so that's how it is, I think, when you are small, right? But then later on, I started feeling I developed a good sense of fairness, I guess. Like when there is injustice, my blood boils, like I want to do something about it. Especially at school, there were very absurd laws, right? Like, for example, let's say the minute, like the rules that you have about how to have your hair.
I hated those.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, it has to be like starting from here and then like curl like this, pins has to be this length. I was thinking, like, what's the whole point? Is it really the discipline? So is it what we are promoting, like having your hair in a particular way? Was it really the kind of discipline that a school should promote? Or I was questioning, isn't it building good values, how to respect people? Those are the kind of discipline a person should have, right? That's what the school should do. So my motivation to learn about law actually comes from the fact our school had very absurd laws. And I always question, like, what's the whole point of this law? And my parents, that mindset starts from somewhere. My parents always told me, if something doesn't make sense to you, question it. They made me be a very a liberal thinker. So with that mindset, I wanted to learn more about law, and I also wanted to make an impact, right? So I think with both of these intentions, the path I chose, being a lawyer and being a lecturer. One thing, of course, being a lawyer, I can talk for injustice, right? And then being a lecturer, I can make an impact to the society. I can groom, because I wanted people to know discipline is not about how your hair should be, or rather it's about having good values and principles as a person, right? So that's the kind of discipline I was rooting to have. So that, and then again, coming back to the question, there was not a single lawyer in our family. But my parents were all cool with me doing arts. So they were like, go for it. Like my father always used to say, choose something where you have strengths. to do. Like, like since I was into drama and I was somebody who is always having a good sense of justice, he said like being a lawyer would be something that you would enjoy, right? And also he always told me to have plan A and B. So lecturing was plan B, right? So I was thinking like, why would I just choose one plan? Let's have both plans going on for me. In our family we have no lawyers at all, or everybody is like a doctor or engineer, so it's quite boring, I would say. But law is quite I think something I really enjoy doing, and then I do not regret it at all. Yeah.
I mean, that mindset, even like, especially when you told me about like from school, you just wanted to change the system of the hair because it's crazy, right?
I
Like
know.
all these rules are absurd.
Yeah.
Like you have to plait the hair. Like, why is that?
It's more simply like, you come to school like in the most ugliest possible way. That was like the bottom line, right? Yeah.
And here's like a fun question. Like, what's the misconception people have about lawyers? If that like something you think that you would tell the audience about it, like.
Okay, one misconception I would say, a lot of people think lawyers make a living out of making arguments, like talking, right? They don't see the hard work behind the courts. At chambers, if you take a lot of lawyers, chambers are where they usually like do their consulting work, and the more like the office, let's say. So they do like a lot of consulting work, documentary work, so it's quite a lot, right? So that's one misconception. So there is a lot of work going on behind the courtrooms. It's not just about arguing. And then other than that, some people think that lawyers enjoy conflicts. We don't enjoy conflicts, right? We want you to prevent them, right? If you are somebody who doesn't want to hire doesn't like lawyers, let's say, the best way is for you to be a law abiding citizen, right? You don't get into conflicts with your neighbor. Please don't, right? Because I mean, we also don't like you getting into conflicts. And then lawyers especially help you with preventing a conflict from happening. That is also, a lot of people don't think that. I mean, lawyers always advise you to like remedy or to prevent bad things from happening. So I think these are the most two common misconceptions. And another one is that lawyers free the criminals, right? Like everybody should have a legal representation, right? So maybe they have committed the murder or the rape or some really bad thing, but we all know the natural justice. We should hear the both sides, right? Let's hear what the other party had to say. So therefore, lawyers, everybody is legally like supposed to have a legal representation, right? It's a right everybody enjoys. So don't come at lawyers when a criminal has a representation. It's up to the judge to make the decision whether this criminal is going to be put into the jail or like what term of imprisonment. That's up to the judge. So the lawyers actually just make sure everybody gets a representation. So I think those are the very common misconceptions that people have about lawyers.
That's really nice to know about it. Like coming from a lawyer itself, we needed to hear that.
Okay.
So you're also a senior lecturer, shaping future professionals in future. So do your students see you as like the strict lecturer or like the very cool lecturer?
Oh, I definitely the cool lecturer. No, honestly, so before this, now I am sort of in a bit of a break. I do visiting lectures at a couple of places, but before last year I was heading a business and a law school. Year before that I was heading a law school. So I have always been in quite administrative roles as well as a lecturer. But I always believe my role is to make the life of my students convenient, right? And I think I enjoy doing that. Let's say a student comes and tell me they could not submit assignment on their deadline, which they should have done. But still, I mean, I don't want to ruin that person's life and delay their whole degree, like, or make them go for a resit. Why would I be rude, right? It's just, I would facilitate true, it's little inconvenient for me to like facilitate it. I also have to go an extra mile for this student, but I would, without any hesitation, I would be like, here, it's okay, you do the submission within this week. I might reduce a little bit of marks because it's unfair by the other students, but if you have scored well, I will give you like a really good mark. Don't worry, it's not that I'm going to cap the mark. Unless there's university rule, I would not cap the mark. So I always enjoy being a kind lecturer to these students. I think educators, lecturers has a huge role in changing the lives of students. And then they also, rather than them liking to see a lecturer who is all into academics, I think they need to see that people in academics excel overall, right? So I always encourage my students also to be people who are like good overall, like not just that you are good with your career. You should be a good, let's say, a kid to your parents. Like you should be a good child to your parents. You should be a good girlfriend, boyfriend. Like you should be a good citizen to the country. So I always try my best to make sure my students also choose the same path as I chose, to like be a good person in general, right? It's not just about getting the knowledge into you, right? And the other thing is, I always make sure, when it comes to me, like starting from me being Island third to like doing my 2 degrees, 3 masters, all that, I have been somebody who has been really, really into academics. I like, even if it's the most boring lecture, I would be the student who has come after reading the recommended reading books and prepared for the lecture, and no matter how boring the lecture is, I'm awake. I would never fall asleep in a lecture, right? But I know I am little exceptional, that I know for a fact. So as a lecturer, I always try my best to keep the classes as engaging as possible, cool as possible, and I think I fairly have like a really good attendance also for most of my classes. So I think I'm doing a good job there. And also I think being chill and like not giving them stress, right? Like when I think if a student is stressed, they are stressed in their head, and whatever I teach them might not go to their brain properly. So I want to make sure they are all happy, and I always ask, have you guys had your breakfast? And I make sure that they are like well fed and have like like ready for the lectures, and then they enjoy the lecture. So I want them not just to learn, to enjoy the lectures as well as remember what was taught in the classroom. So I think being a chill lecturer helps that.
Great. So, if you don't mind, I wanted to ask you this, sharing with us, like, what's the funniest thing a student has ever said to you? It can be anything if you don't mind sharing. You can still share if you want.
Well, I'm not so sure. Well, there are a lot of funny things that the students have said to me, but one time there was this one incident. I noticed a girl in my class was crying, right? So I think this is more like a thing I said, which is funny. And then I went to her because the class was little disturbed, because she was not crying. She was sort of, how do I say that, like about to cry, sort of like had a very long sad face in her, and like had tears in her eyes. So then other students were also a little concerned about her. So I went to her and asked, why, what's wrong? And she's like, no ma'am, nothing's wrong. I said, like, no, you are upset, tell me why. And she was not telling me. I asked, is it something to do with like you being hungry, or do you want to like go to the washroom, or do you like, I know this is very stupid of me to ask these things. And then I asked, is it something to do with friends, family? Nothing, right? I was trying my best. So this is when I was a young lecturer, right? So I mean, I'm still young, but anyway, then I was asking, I was running out of things to ask from her. She's not telling me. Like, she's like wanting to tell it, but doesn't tell me. Then I asked, Puta, do you feel like you are possessed by something? And like a couple of days ago, I watched a horror movie also. And she started to laugh. I really, I know, like, everybody laughed,
What What did she say for that?
She was laughing and she said, no, ma'am. And then like, but it solved the problem. Like after that, she was in a good mood. But I still, up to date, like I don't know what was the problem that day.
I didn't expect you that you would be asking about like the possession. Oh my gosh. That was actually good. That was good. So, about RARA. So, while practicing law and teaching, you also founded RARA. Like, how did that happen? And like, how did the entrepreneur in you wake up suddenly?
Okay. So, well, in my family, my sister, she's a big time entrepreneur, right? So she is like a awarded entrepreneur, I must say. So even a couple of months ago, so she got an award. So she has a skin clinic. She's a doctor. And then my parents, they both are entrepreneurs. They have a very successful surveying consultation and a real estate company. So I come from a family where they are professionals as well as entrepreneurs. So I had the solid background for it, but the RARA thing started in a like a very random way. So when I went to the law faculty, I did 2 degrees there in the same time. I did a BA degree and my LLB. I still was missing like creative things. Because before I got my results, low key I was hoping I don't get a good result, so then I would convince myself to become a fashion designer, because I knew for a fact if I get like a obvious like island rank, I would definitely want to become a lawyer, because I would not give up on the chance to go to the law faculty. But anyway, fortunately I was island third, but still I felt that it's not my first choice. Sort of, it was there all along. So I thought, my father was like, do a hobby, do it as a hobby. You don't have to, like be into fashion and designing per se. So I thought one day I wanted to make a earring for like one of the dresses I have. I'm somebody who always want to be very well put together all the time. So this particular dress did not had a good pair of earrings. So I had a wire and some beads with me. So I made a earring. So I showed it to my mother. And she was like, oh, wow, this is nice. But for me, I'm a very critical person when it comes to being critical about myself. For me, it was not nice. But she was like, oh, this is so nice. You should wear it. I thought, okay, maybe I will wear it, because I had no other option. Okay, I wore it. And then I went to see some of my friends there. They said, wow, it's so nice, right? Then I was little encouraged, thinking like my confidence really boosted, like when they said it's so nice. And that's from where I started. So I started as a very small, like it was just me who was making the earrings. And then even now I do the first sampling set, like let's say it's a 50 pair set I'm making. Sometimes there are times I would not even ask my staff to make it. I would do it myself, right? Because I enjoy doing that so much. The designing part of it is, of course, entirely done by me. So going back to the story, after that, I wanted to like make earrings for my friends. I was very weak at sales, because whenever my friends tell me, like, can you make this earring for me? I would make it and give it for free. I was never into, selling. But then I realized I need to, like if it's a business I'm going to start, I need to sell it, right? Let's say even a client, like a customer would contact me online and ask how much for the both. If I feel like it's too much for the customer, even without saying the price, I would reduce it by 50% and would say the price, right? So I was very bad at it in the beginning, but later on, I learned through the process. I was never good at those things. So I learned through the process, and I started exporting it. But later, when it became only export oriented, so I realized I don't get to see anyone wearing my earrings, right? So I thought, like, let's have a brand presence in Sri Lanka. And only 2 years ago, I rebranded my product as RARA. Designs by Alosha, and I started selling it locally as well. So there are a few outlets out there, made in Ceylon and like other Sam's, and there are a few outlets out there that has my products around. Like there are 5 locations, and I'm planning on expanding as well. So right now my focus is to build the brand here in Sri Lanka. But it all started very randomly, but I always wanted to start something of my own. But this, of course, meet my like need to engage in something creative, which is designing, and then also I make a good profit out of it. So it's a win-win, I would say.
Great. So I know that you love traveling also. So if you could pack your bags tomorrow and go anywhere in the world, where is that destination? Where would you go?
Okay, I would say Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, I have always been wanting to go to Japan. I have never been. So the culture, the people, and the discipline, the trains, and I mean, it's expensive. I have checked the prices.
Food.
Yeah, the food. Yeah, I know, right? So I want to go to Japan. That's where, I mean, if somebody, I mean, if I have a chance like that, definitely that will be Japan. Because inbound, I think within Sri Lanka, I always make sure for every month I travel somewhere. Most of the time it will be somewhere down south. But I like hill country. There are a lot of places in Sri Lanka that can be explored. I mean, Sri Lanka is such a beautiful country. I mean, sometimes my parents are like, why don't you like take a some tour else? I'm like, no, I'm going to like maybe the same place I have been one time again and again, because I feel Sri Lanka is a place where we have a lot of places to explore yet, right? So like let's say this month I went to a Hangama, I would go for like few places, but the next time I go to a Hangama, I would try some other places and some other activities. So it's a beautiful country, Sri Lanka is. But again, coming back to your question, that will be Japan for sure. Yeah.
Japan. That's a very nice destination also.
Yeah. You
So-
have been, is it?
No, I have not. I wish I was in
If I'm to ask that question from you, where would that be?
Me?
Yeah.
Turkey. I love Turkey.
Oh, wow. Oh.
It's actually very pretty.
Yeah, I have seen too. Yeah.
But the fun thing about Turkey is like they
The
have
hot air balloons.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Cappadocia,
Oh, yeah.
and like it's like a mini Greece. They have like a little of Greece in it,
Uh-huh.
and everything in one place, like Izmir and all. And
now
it's
I want to go to Turkey
it's
too.
all together. So yeah, Turkey would be that.
Okay.
So people see you today as a successful lawyer, lecturer, entrepreneur, and a founder. What's something about your journey that might surprise people? It can be anything.
Okay. One thing, as someone in academics, I started with a failure, right? Fail in my scholarships exam. And then even at the school, I was in the early years, I would say up until grade 9, I was never treated as a smart kid, right? So I think failures, I believe so much in failures. I love failures, right? Because, yeah, and then, and I mean, because failures make me so strong. Let me like tell you like one really weird thing I like. So when I feel less motivated to do something, and if there is somebody who would like tell something really mean to me, rude to me, like who are you, like you are nobody, and like maybe criticize me, oh, that's like fuel to me. I love that when people do that to me. I'll be like, wait, I'll show you. So that's like I have that very weird mindset where negativity is my fuel, right? I mean, I'm somebody who is like very optimistic. It's very difficult for somebody to try to make me feel negative, and that's one thing. And then other thing is I do have a bit of a health struggle from growing up. Like from a very young age, I had endometriosis. So I mean, I have had surgeries, and like that's all like a not a suffering, I would say. That's a condition I would be having throughout my life. But that is also something like a lot of people would not know. But I don't even mention this with a lot of people. I would suffer and tolerate it somehow most of the time, because I feel that it's like I'm asking for sympathy from other people. But now I have felt a lot of individuals, girls doesn't know that they have endometriosis, so they suffer a lot from their period pain and they think it's normal. But because building awareness is important, I think I use this opportunity to like tell people, young girls out there, if you have such period pain and which is very difficult for you to bear, get yourself checked. Maybe it's endometriosis, but even though if you get diagnosed by it, learn to live with it, right? I mean, that's the life. Life is not always fair. That's unfair most of the time. But don't make that an excuse for you to not to thrive in life. You can still be successful despite what health conditions you have. So I think those are two things a lot of people would not really think I had throughout this journey. I mean, I was not battling or suffering. I was rather making it part of my life and accepting, embracing it. Yeah.
Great. Like, thanks for sharing about that. Especially girls, they don't know even what they're diagnosed with, and they just think it's normal. Also,
Yeah, exactly.
And this is our final question. I asked this from all of our guests to come to the podcast. Like, if there's a girl watching our podcast, what's one advice you would give to her if she feels unsure about life right now?
Okay, that's a great question. So, I would say for somebody who is unsure about what the life is going to look like for them in future, it's okay, right? You got this, because most of the successful people out there haven't figured it out completely yet. We also learn things through the process, right? I think you being a little confused right now is a sign that you are ready to explore what opportunities are out there. So what I would suggest that you should do is that be capable. Start building a good set of skills. Start being qualified, right? So when you become capable with skills and with qualifications, right, it depends on the interest that you have for the field. Some fields might not quite expect certain qualifications, but skills are a must, right, for any industry. Skills and then academic qualifications, those capabilities that you build in them will open opportunities for you, right? It's totally normal for at a young age for you to still feel a little confused and figure out, but try, right? Don't, and take failures as marvelous lessons, right? Failures are lessons. I mean, I sometimes I like to get certain, like when I was doing my MBA, I like to get things wrong, so then I learn them better, I remember them better, right? The failures are the best things that can happen to you. So try, keep trying. Don't let the failures, overshadow your positivity. And then again, make sure you build a good value system in you, right? Have a good set of principles and have a good set of values in you. So then, without you even knowing, if you have the right set of skills, qualifications, the good set of values and principles, the life will take you to great places. Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you so much for joining with us, Alosha. Like, it was a very good conversation. We had like, really, you spoke about peer pain, and these are like really things like in general people need to hear, especially girls, and you're such a great inspiration, like, for anyone who's watching. She's a lawyer and she's doing it all together, and it's not easy for you to be you.
Yeah.
Like the cycle, you have to do this and do responsibilities. So who is watching, this was like a great podcast. For me itself, it's a big inspiration.
Thank you.
So thanks for joining us, and I will see you soon in another interesting episode with another interesting guest.